Just 2 games into our first season in the Championship and we are already top of the table. It is episode 51 of the Redmont Rangers Road to Glory career mode here on EAFC 24. Let's get into it. So, although we are only 2 games into the season, already we have a massive episode coming up today. We have got 3 games to get to. We have Bournemouth away in the league. We have Middlesbrough at home, and then we have Sheffield United away also in the league, each of those 2 games. So 3 really difficult opponents in today's episode. We can obviously only play one of those games. The other 2 we have to quick sim, and I think I've decided to play against Bournemouth. I think they're going to be probably the toughest of the 3 opponents. Arguably Sheffield United might be the toughest, but I would anticipate Sheffield United to play a 5 at the back formation, and I would prefer to play against Bournemouth what I anticipate to be 4 at the back. So we're going to play against Bournemouth, we're going to quick sim Middlesbrough and Sheffield United. If we can come away with 4 points from this episode, I would be incredibly pleased. I would settle, to be fair, for 3 points, in all honesty. Anything more than 3 we have to be happy with. Any more than 4 we have to be absolutely ecstatic. Couple of quick updates just before we jump into the game. We can see that we have managed to now bring in Keane Lewis-Potter on loan from Brentford. So he's going to start at left wing for us today. He comes into the side already our highest overall player, joint with Daniel Jebison. So he should make a big impact this year. Eli just scored in our opening game against Birmingham City away, but it is going to be Alex Petit who continues on that right hand side. I've also brought in a couple of additional centre midfielders, so that was the last place where we really needed to strengthen the depth in the squad. Just a couple of free agents. We've brought in Lewis Baker, I believe his name is, 31 years old, so an experienced player, but looks very solid, good defensively and going forward, so a very versatile player in the centre of the park. And then Joe Powell as well, similar kind of thing. He can probably push out to the wing if we really need him to as well. A little younger at 27, so he's in on a 2-year deal, Baker in on just a 1-year deal, and what that is going to allow us to do is send Forbes out on loan, who is just 16 years old. He wasn't going to play too much for us this season. I was content to allow him to stay in the squad and just give him some game time if and when we can, but I would prefer to send him out on loan. A loan deal has already been arranged for him. He's going up to Hearts for the season, so he should progress well there. Wells also going out on loan. Bolton also going out on loan. Loan deals have already been arranged for them, so we're going to have our starting 11, we're going to have our bench, and then we're going to have an additional defender, centre midfielder and winger in the reserves. So keeping the squad nice and small, nice and tight this season. This is going to be the starting 11 for Bournemouth. We're going to have Roman Hewitt in goal, a back 5 of Josh Key. I always forget this guy's first name. Let's go William O'Hora. I'm pretty confident that's wrong though. Jesse Cartwright, Burke Risa and Barley Mumba. Jerry Dorset on the bench because Caleb Taylor feeling it a little bit from those first few games. Alex Lowry and Jamie Shackleton in midfield. We've got Alex Petit, Daniel Jebison, and then the new man, Keane Lewis-Potter up front. So let's check out the pre-match report for Bournemouth, and then when we'll jump into the game. So we've got Senesi at the back there. Alex Mepham or Chris Mepham, again, can't remember the first name of that particular player. They've got Ryan Ait-Nouri, who they have signed from Wolves. They've got Tyler Adams in centre midfield and Endo as well. So a couple of new centre midfielders really strengthening that Bournemouth side since the start of the season, or the series rather. 3 seasons ago now, and Bournemouth are actually a 4.5 star side. They've got a 78 defence, 79 midfield and 81 attack, so this really is going to be a very difficult encounter for us. Cliver on the bench there as well. They're going to gegenpress, they're going to press aggressively all over the pitch, and they're going to focus on being patient in possession when they do have the ball. So not sure what to expect for this one, other than that it's going to be a difficult game away from home at the Vitality Stadium. We have got a new away kit for this season. So we're going to run that one out for this particular game. We've got a new third kit as well, which I might as well show here. So a white and grey away kit, and then something a little bit different for the third kit this season. We've got kind of a yellow and purple number there, which I'm sure will debut at some point in the not too distant future. But just the away kit for today, Bournemouth with a very similar kit to our home kit. And let's jump into it and see what we can do against probably one of the better sides in the Championship this season, you would have to say. 100 career wins for Hans Newman in his first 3 seasons as Redmont Rangers manager. It's not a bad result, or not a bad tally at all. So we have to imagine Bournemouth probably going to have a lot of possession in this game. I like that we have our 5 at the back. And we're going to have to just trust those 5 at the back to be strong, to deal with the Bournemouth attacks well, and not to make any mistakes. We're going to have to be at our best to beat this side, I would think. And I think we're going to have to try and hit them on the counter-attack when we can. It does look like Bournemouth are going to be getting a lot of players back in defence when they do lose possession. The pre-match report told us they were going to gegenpress, but they've got all 11 players deep behind the ball. And that's a poor pass already from Alex Lowry, sending it out of play on that right-hand side. So, not the best start for the midfielder. He didn't particularly impress in his debut against Birmingham City. We mentioned when we signed him that he was not the highest overall, and it was those 5 playstyles that he has that were really what made him most appealing. There were other options we could have signed in centre midfield, but Alex Lowry is a player I've had my eye on for quite some time, and it is those 5 playstyles that really caught my eye. Good challenge from Barley Mumba, and Bert Crease is just going to have to get rid, which he does. Daniel Jefferson nabs the ball away from Marcos Senesi, and he drives towards the Bournemouth box. He's got the pace to beat the centre-back, and he's just got to finish now, which he doesn't. He makes an absolute hash of it. A terrible, terrible finish from Daniel Jefferson. He'd done really well to forge the chance for himself. And it was a shocking finish, really. It's not something you expect from the big number 9. So, first real chance of the game does fall to Redmont Rangers. But Daniel Jefferson wastes it. I don't think we're going to have too many of those today. So, next time we do get one, we're going to have to make sure that we do take it. I said I'd be happy enough with 4 points from today's episode. And I would be happy enough with a draw here, away at Bournemouth. We're away from home against one of the better teams in the league, so I think you've always got to be happy with a draw in those kinds of situations. And to be fair, Bournemouth are allowing us to have possession early in this game. They are defending very deep, so I mean, we're not enjoying possession in particularly dangerous areas, but just enjoying possession just in itself, I'm happy enough with at this stage of the game. Good play from Alex Lowry to win a corner. And set pieces could be quite important for us today. As I said, I don't really anticipate creating too many chances from open play. And it's going to be the Brentford loanee, Keane Lewis Potter, to put the ball in. And it's a good one, but the goalkeeper is out well. It was a good corner. Aiming for Daniel Jefferson. But the goalkeeper, quick off his line, does well to come out and claim. And it's well worked from Lewis Potter on that left-hand side. Gets another good cross in towards Daniel Jefferson. Alex Lowry strikes. And the shot was on target, but the goalkeeper again equal to it. I quite like this away kit. It's a little more understated than previous away kits that we've had, and we've introduced the grey as a secondary colour, which we haven't done before. And we'll see if we can just kind of drill one towards the near post here. It looks like we've got players in that area. And again, the goalkeeper comes. He doesn't do as well this time as he did the first time, though. Made a bit of a hash of it that time. Alex Petit puts a shot across the goal, but it's blocked and out for another corner. We'll try and crowd the goalkeeper this time and just loop one into the space around the penalty area. We don't really crowd the goalkeeper, though. That was what I asked for. It's not really what I got. So we're going to have to bear that in mind from corners. The goalkeeper comes out quickly and early. And he's demonstrated he's able to claim the ball when he does so. So potentially you want to move to an outswinger on the next one. Shackleton's had a decent start to his career as a Redmont Rangers player. Only a loanee, like Lewis Potter, on loan from Leeds. But I think it's going to be an important player for us this season. He's replacing Brandon Anderson, who of course was something of a stalwart for the club. Oh, and that's really poor from Bournemouth. Daniel Jefferson with another chance to take the lead for Redmont. But again, we've seen the goalkeeper coming off his line early, and he does so again there to make the save this time rather than to collect the corner. Spreads himself and makes the save. We do have a chance for an outswinger here. We're going to go back to Keane Lewis Potter with the right foot outswinger. Great save from the goalkeeper from Daniel Jefferson's header, and Burke Reesa can't get onto the rebound. But it is all Redmont Rangers early here. Really good start to the game from the away team. We've controlled possession. We've created opportunities. And it really has been the goalkeeper that's kept Bournemouth in the game thus far. Oh, a good challenge from the Bournemouth defender there, though. And we'll see what they can do on a counter-attack. And they're content just to keep the ball instead. Thought potentially we could see Bournemouth players flooding forward there, but it wasn't the case. Good challenge from Jamie Shackleton. Keane Lewis Potter puts his foot in as well, but unable to come away with the ball. Good challenge from Jesse Cartwright. And Alex Petit is just content to keep the ball with Burke Reesa. He's being pressed high there by two Bournemouth players. But we've got Barley Mumba over and in some space, and he's going to drive towards the Bournemouth back line and clip the ball over to Keane Lewis Potter. And it's dealt with well by Marcus Senesi. He just read what Lewis Potter wanted to do there, which was cut inside, and took the option away from him. I do fancy us as one of the better sides in the league this season as well. I don't think we're quite on par with Bournemouth in terms of players and overalls. But I think we're probably not too far behind. I mean, 4.5 stars for Bournemouth is very high. But I would imagine we're probably a 3.5 star team at this stage. Maybe a 3-star. And Daniel Jefferson's in the box here. It's going to fall to him. He takes it down on his chest, and he does, with the third chance of the game for him. Managed to finish. And it is a 1-0 Redmont Rangers lead away at Bournemouth. It has been all Redmont Rangers so far in the game. Bournemouth unable to do very much of anything at all in the game so far, really. And it's a good ball in from Alex Petit. Daniel Jefferson took it down on his chest. He had the space and the time to do so. And then he just tucked the shot with the right foot across the goalkeeper and into the bottom corner. It's a very, very good goal. I believe the first goal of the season for Daniel Jefferson, although I could be wrong. We did beat Plymouth 4-0 in one of the games that we quick simmed in episode 1. And Potentially, Jefferson did score in that game, actually. He definitely didn't score against Birmingham City. We won the game 1-0, and Eli Just was on the score sheet that day. But we're looking very much towards Daniel Jefferson to be our primary goal scorer this year. No Jake Dale, of course. He left for then Premier League Watford in January in Season 3. Watford did get relegated, however, so they are back down in the Championship. We will be playing them twice this season. So we will likely see Jake Dale. And the mantle very much has moved to Daniel Jefferson. Alex Petit unable to keep the ball in play there. Jake Dale, a very good player for Redmont Rangers. Top goal scorer numerous times for the club. And Daniel Jefferson looking to pick up where Jake Dale left off, really. Looking to build the same kind of legacy. He's taken Jake Dale's number. The number 9. Jamie Shackleton cuts inside because there's some space to run into. Plays it up to Alex Lowry, who fires a shot across goal. And it's another good save by the goalkeeper. It's one he should make. He'd taken up a good position. Lowry was forced to strike across goal. And that just allowed the goalkeeper to make a relatively comfortable save. Oh, it's a good header from Alex Petit. He's not a player you would be aiming for from corners too often. And not a player you'd be expecting to cause a particular aerial threat. But he got his head on it there and the header flashed just over the bar. Jamie Shackleton intercepts well. And we've got some space on the right-hand side if Josh Key can make an overlapping run. But Alex Petit has actually done well to turn and come away with the ball. Daniel Jefferson across the near post. And Keane Lewis Potter can't get to the rebound before it's cleared by the Bournemouth defender. Bournemouth looking to counter-attack with what surely has to be one of the last few attacks of the game. About 5 minutes, including stoppage time, left to go. But Alex Lowry doing well to contribute defensively there. He's very much an attacking-minded player. We're not going to be relying too much on Alex Lowry to defend for us this season. But everybody does have to make their contributions when they can, and Alex Lowry did there. And if we can get to half-time with a 1-0 lead, which it currently looks like we should be able to, if we just stay composed and stay focused in these last couple of minutes as Bournemouth run the ball out of play, then I'll be... Well, Hans Newman will be a very happy man, you would imagine. Is it Warren O'Hora? I think it's Warren O'Hora. I knew it was something beginning with W. Oh, that's a poor pass from Burke Reeser. Just inviting Bournemouth to get one last attack in before the referee blows his whistle. But it looks like they're going to decline to press the issue too hard. And it is a 1-0 Redmont Rangers lead at half-time at the Vitality Stadium. We've got Daniel Jefferson on the score sheet. 4 attempts, 3 on target, 1 goal. So a decent start from the number 9. We look fit enough, so I don't see any reason why we shouldn't go out with the same 11 that we started the game with. We do have some good options on the bench as well. A good array of options, both defensively and going forward. Obviously, if the game stays as it is for too much longer, we'll be looking towards those defensive options. Nice little turn from Alex Lowry, and is going to drive now towards the Bournemouth defence. That's much better from Alex Lowry. Can't quite thread the final pass through. But he did well to carve out a bit of space for himself. And if Bournemouth do find a way back into the game via an equaliser, we do have some good attacking options on the bench that we can turn to as well. Samson Tavide, a player who's going to try and make his impact on Redmont Rangers this season. We signed him in Season 1. He's been out on loan. He's developed as a player. But he hasn't really had an opportunity to play for us too much just yet. So this is now his opportunity. He's developed to the point where we feel confident putting him in the side. And we feel... well, we felt so confident in him that we decided that we can trust him to contribute enough that we can sell Jake Dale. Keane Lewis-Potter does well to carve out some space. Daniel Jefferson's alone in the box. Bournemouth's managed to deal with it as a result. Good defending by Josh Key, just to send the ball backwards. And Alex Petit's going to have to come over and help out here, which he does well. Oh, it's a good pass from Bournemouth to find a little bit of space though, but just crowded out there. Keane Lewis-Potter again comes away with it. Good feet. Skips away from the Bournemouth player and is fouled by Tyler Adams. He's not a massively dynamic player, Lewis-Potter. As we see Justin Kluivert coming on for Roman Favre. He's not the paciest. He's not the best dribbler. He doesn't have, you know, the rapid or quick step play styles or anything like that. He's just a very good, technically sound winger, and I think we can rely on him to put in some good crosses for Daniel Jefferson to get on the end of. I think we can trust him to combine well with Bali Mumba down the left-hand side. And I think we can probably rely on him to cut inside from that left-hand side and come up with a handful of goals this season as well. So maybe not a player who kind of blows you away in terms of his ratings, but just a very solid, well-rounded player. And certainly somebody who is kind of lower Premier League level, who we are being able to use down in the Championship. So Burke Reese is going to have to be careful here. Same goes for Bali Mumba. Neither of them could steal the ball. Both of them a little reluctant to put a foot in, as I believe that was Kluivert drove towards the Redmont Rangers box. Kluivert ends up just prodding the ball towards goal, and it takes an awkward bounce off Roman Hewitt. Fortunately, the ball goes out for a corner. Oh, and we're going to have to get rid of the ball here, and Bali Mumba does. Deals with it well. And Daniel Jefferson might be able to cause an issue here. He does have some pace. Chasing the ball as far back as the goalkeeper, and Josh Key wins the header to reclaim possession for Redmont Rangers. I think it's going to be time to make our first changes next time the ball goes out of play, and they will be defensive changes since we have managed to hang on to this one-goal lead. Really well worked to get the ball across the field to Alex Petit, who's found some space in the middle of the field to run into, and he's just shepherded off the ball well by the Bournemouth defender. So defensive midfielders is something that we are somewhat missing. We did bring in Lewis Baker, who is kind of a versatile box-to-box style midfielder. Not a CDM exactly, but he is a player who can put in a shift defensively for us. I would have preferred to sign an out-and-out kind of CDM style player. But I didn't want to spend any money on a midfielder of that kind. So I think we're going to bring Lewis Potter off. He's had a good debut, but we'll bring him off for Eli Just. So I just kind of had to sign the best two midfielders that I could amongst the free agents that I found. And I think Baker was probably the best defensive option of all of them. So he's going to come on for Jamie Shackleton in just a bit. In another 10 minutes or so, potentially. Michael Garbutt on for Alex Lowry, though. As Eli just steals the ball away from the Bournemouth right back and drives towards the box. Drives the ball into the box for Daniel Jefferson, who struck it towards goal, but the angle was too narrow, really. And it ends up going harmlessly into the side netting. And Bournemouth potentially put themselves in a bit of a tricky position here, playing the ball out short. Oh, we do press high, but we've got players out of position now as Bournemouth managed to work themselves out of the situation. It's not the best challenge from Burke Risa. Bali Mumba comes across to try and help his central defender out, and eventually manages to come away with it. That was looking a little dangerous there for a moment, though. I've been somewhat surprised by Bournemouth today. They've not pressed as high and as aggressively as I anticipated that they would, see in that gegenpressing play style. And it's fantastic from O'Hora to drive forward from his position in the centre of that defence and slip the ball through to Daniel Jefferson. Another chance for the striker goes begging. Eli just unable to carve out any space for himself to shoot. Shackleton again, as he has done all game, hustling and harrying the Bournemouth midfield. And a really bad offside there for Bournemouth. Should never be getting caught offside in that position. It's a terrible angle. Was coming back, to be fair, right, Nuri, but not quickly enough. It is Warren O'Hora. Just heard the commentators say there. Nice little ball from Bali Mumba up to Eli Just, who takes it down well on his chest. He does find space to cross, but it is blocked and out of play. We're going to make a couple more changes now. Shackleton off for Baker. And I'm going to bring Tavide on up front for Daniel Jefferson. We'll give him 15, 20 minutes or so at the end of this game. So, good performance from the number 9. Does get on the score sheet. His goal is the difference in the game at the moment. And the ball looped up into the box there from the corner. Samson Tavide looked for a moment as if he might get on the end of it, but it didn't work out that way. Spread wide from Baker to Alex Petit. Tries to slip it through to Michael Garbutt, who'd made a good run. But instead, Bournemouth are able to break. Nuri a little tired, though, and has to turn back and just maintain possession. We've done a really good job of stifling any Bournemouth attacks, really. And Roman Hewitt's going to have to come out here, and he does, and makes a good save. Danger still not cleared, though. And Jesse Cartwright blocks this time. And it goes out for a Bournemouth corner. Really, really big save from Roman Hewitt. And you can see Risa, Key, Cartwright, his defenders congratulating him for making it. The home crowd really getting behind their side now as well, as they try and find an equaliser in this game. Fantastic challenge from O'Hora, and he does manage to clear before the ball goes out of play. Fantastic defending there. Oh, and a good challenge in midfield as well, and Samson Tavide can come away with it now. Bali Mumba makes an overlapping run outside him. Pulls it back to Tavide, who strikes. It's a deflection from the Bournemouth defender, and it's such a good save by the goalkeeper. He was diving away to his left there and had to completely adjust his body and go back to his right in midair. Really, really good save. And the ball to Burke Risa. Can't quite win the header there, though. And I'm going to drop back into my defensive game plan for these last 10 minutes or so. I don't want to go ultra defensive, I don't think, at this stage. But just drop those wingers back into a flat midfield 4. And just be a little bit more solid in terms of our shape. Just 10 minutes or so to see out here. I'm confident we can get a point at the very least. I don't want to give up an equaliser to Bournemouth late in the game. But I said I would be happy with a point before the game. And you would imagine if Bournemouth are going to score, they're only going to have time for 1 rather than 2. Oh, and I haven't quite put enough on that. Alex Petit could have found Eli just there. But I just didn't put enough on the ball. We have got one last substitution that we can make to waste a little bit more time as well. And I might be looking to do that next time the ball goes out of play. Well worked from Bournemouth, but cut out well from Burke Reeser. And Baker can potentially come away with it here, but he's immediately crowded out by Bournemouth players. Does really well to keep hold of the ball there, though. And he still has it, Lewis Baker. Eventually gives it up to Burke Reeser. Bournemouth now pressing very high. Now we are seeing that gegenpressing play, tactical vision rather. Roman Hewitt just clears, and the Bournemouth midfielder, Endo, in acres of space. And Bournemouth really should have equalised there. They've let us off. A fantastic chance for Bournemouth to level the game late there. Who do we want to bring off as our final change? I don't think we're going to make our last change, actually. So a gilt-edged opportunity to level the game in the 89th minute. But the striker snatched at the chance and it ends up going wide. So I think we're going to be very lucky to come away with the 3 points. I think we've dominated the game on balance of play. I don't like this at all. I'm just trying to get rid of the ball with Josh Key, but it bounces off the Bournemouth player and straight back to their feet. Josh Key now out of position. Does manage to get back and stop the cross from coming in. Cartwright clears, but not well enough. Bournemouth still have possession. We're going to drop to ultra defensive for these last couple of minutes. What a challenge from Michael Garbett. And we do manage to get rid with Josh Key now. Samson Savide will chase the ball down. Marcus Senesi on his last legs. And Savide blocks it. The assistant did flag. I guess Samson Savide blocked it with his arm. But honestly, I'm more than happy that the referee played advantage there, because it did allow us to waste a little bit more time. And Garbett again with a good intervention. Just have to get rid of the ball, which O'Hora does, and there goes the full-time whistle. So we do manage to eke out a 1-0 win away from home against Bournemouth. I said I think this is going to be the toughest of the 3 games that we're going to play this episode. So if that's any indication, we should be on for another good one. Daniel Jefferson with the goal that made the difference ultimately. Probably should have had 2 or 3 today, to be honest. But 1 goal was enough to get it done. Let's take a quick look at the match facts. I feel like we did dominate that game. Bournemouth had slightly more possession, more passes attempted, but we did far more with our possession than they did with theirs. Sheffield United drawn 2-2 with Portsmouth. Portsmouth potentially going to be a team we want to look out for this season as well. A fellow League One team from last season. So still trying to keep that player morale up nice and high. That's something we learned from Season 3. Player morale puts your job in jeopardy far too easily. So really making an effort to keep that player morale high. We have already... I think I'll just reject this. I'd quite like Alistair Forbes to go to Hearts. I think that's quite a realistic move for him. So we have got 2 more games to quick sim in this episode. At home to Middlesbrough. So it's going to be our first game. Is it our first game? No, Plymouth must have been at home. In the last episode. But we haven't yet played a game at Redmont Arena this season. So Alistair Forbes does end up going to Hearts. We're going to cover 100% of his wages. That's one of the negatives about delegating those kinds of decisions. You can't arrange a 50-50 split of the wages. I mean, maybe you can, but you never end up getting 50-50. Caleb Taylor's going to come back into the side. Dorset can stay on the bench, though. I think I'm going to start Eli Just ahead of Petit. And I think I'll actually put Brendan Clark on the bench as well. So just George Wells left to go out on loan from those players who we had designated for loan at the start of the season. But that's going to be the team for this one. Middlesbrough with a 4-2-3-1. The team not looking too dissimilar from how it would have started. Lots of players that would have been on the team at the start of the series still on the team. And we end up losing this one 2-1 to Middlesbrough, unfortunately. Barley Mumba did get his first goal of the season, but 2 goals from Jones either side makes it a 2-1 victory for Middlesbrough. So if we can get the point against Sheffield United, that would take us up to 4 for the episode. And I would be very pleased with that. We will keep back in Lewis Potter. Maybe we just lacked a bit of self-belief. And we have to learn from setbacks.
Thank you.
So an away fixture at Sheffield United. Going to be a very difficult game again. Oh, it's Gabriel Wells, not George Wells. Going to be a very difficult game again. We're probably going to have to rotate the side as well, I would imagine. So Brendan Clark can come in and Alex Petit can come in. So both the youngsters start. And I'm going to put Samson Tavidi up front as well, actually. Alex Lowry is not going to come back in the side. We will put Porter on the bench ahead of Baker. And I'm actually going to start Dorset ahead of Risa, who looks like he needs a little bit of a rest. So that's going to be the side for this last game against Sheffield United. And fingers crossed for a win, obviously, but a draw would be more than acceptable. A 5-3-2 for Sheffield United. Gardner up front, looks like a youth prospect that they have developed, as with Correa in the back 5 there. Other than that, again, the team doesn't look too dissimilar from how you might expect it to look in real life. And we do manage to get a 1-1 draw. So we do get the 4 points that we were looking for. Alex Petit getting on the score sheet in the second half to level it after Sheffield United had took the lead. So in a very difficult episode with 3 very difficult games, 2 of which were away from home, don't forget, we do manage to get 4 points from those 9, which I think we have to be very pleased with. Especially since we got 6 points in the opening episode. So a good points tally so far, I would say, based on the fixtures that we have had. And we do get our manager rating back up into the green. So let's have a quick look at the standings and at the calendar before we finish up here. So 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss so far leaves us with 10 points from 15. So not a bad points tally at all. 3 points behind the leaders, Swansea, who sit in first place on 13. And just a point behind Luton in that second automatic promotion place. So good start to the season for sure. We've had a very good August so far. Just 2 losses, one of which was in the Cup. We've got Watford in the next episode, and I think that's going to be our game that we will play almost certainly. It's at home, so it's going to be our first game at Redmont Arena, and it's going to be potentially the return of Jake Dale to Redmont Arena. We'll have to check on their pre-match report and see if he is in the side, but that will be the game that we play. The season continues to be tough, though, because we've got games away at West Bromwich Albion, who again are going to be one of the better sides in the league, and then Stoke City at home as well. We do also have the closure of the transfer window in the meantime as well. So we'll get stuck into that in the next episode. A good start to the season. We're going to have to continue that as we move forward against Watford, and potentially as we see the return of Jake Dale to Redmont Arena. So I look forward to that in the next episode. Hope to see you there. Take it easy.